It's the part they don't see. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of MINA. I'm Troy Rawlings, your host. And today we have this young lady, as you can see, if you can see her beautiful sweatshirt. It says entrepreneur, innovator, philanthropist, worldwide, global unity advocate. And you're like, how do I say all this? Well, number one, not only is she doing some amazing work in helping people on the tip as far as mental health, she's also helping people with their relationships, community, racial equality, and she happens to be a soldier, not just a Lord type soldier. She's a soldier. Sister soldier. No, she's not sister soldier. Boys, Miss Mina Ward. How are you, Mina?
I am so well. Thank you so much, Troy. You are so amazing. I am so excited to be here. It took long enough.
It. We've been talking about this for a while, and I think I approached her first because I saw the name of her Instagram. It's Black Therapy Love. And then I
Yes.
looked on and realized Black Therapy Love was an app. And I was like, well, I want to talk to people about love. My whole mission is sex, love, relationships, and helping people communicate better in love. And she's like, slow down, brother. This is what I do. But amazing start. But I tell people all the time, I kind of Tarantino this thing. So let's go back. Let's go back. Where are you
Yes.
originally from? Mina?
Say that one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where are you originally from?
I am originally from a very small town, Danville, Illinois. If you are not from anywhere around there, you probably don't know where it is. It's just that small. So yeah, from a small town in Illinois. It's too cold up there right
And how long have you hit? Because you're in San Diego right now?
now. I'm actually in Murrieta, California, so about
Right.
45 minutes north of San Diego.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, and of course with the military, it's brought me many places. So I've been here almost 2 years now. So I'm on the west side with you right now.
West Coast. Right.
Yeah,
That's why we can do this right now. You're not knocked out, probably. I don't know if you're early
yeah.
bird.
I am an early bird. I really am. Mm. Don't get into
Because
it.
how
After
early
8:30, it's a wrap.
but how long have you been up? What time do you usually get up in the morning?
I'm normally up around 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And how long have
hmm
you been in the military now?
So 19 and a half years in the Marine Corps. And so next year, I will be officially a veteran. It is time to move forward, time to hang up the boots, as we say. And I'm ready for chapter 2.
So what all right, chapter 2. And I take it the thrust we were just talking about that a little bit. The thrust of chapter 2 is Black Therapy Love. What okay, first off, mental health, relationships, but what made you get started on that course of dealing with wellness, mental health, love, because the word love is in it. What made you, what drove you towards that?
Yeah. So, the word is, and the name of the app is Black Therapy Love. And the mantra is loving ourselves through therapy. You
Mm,
know, with mental health is so important. And the good thing is that we're talking about it. We are really trying to help to destigmatize it in the Black community, but we got a lot of work to do.
right.
So, I chose that area because I deal with anxiety. I've dealt with depression. I have plenty of family members in my life and in my people in my circle that have dealt with mental health and mental health issues. And we never really talked about it. We knew that it existed. We knew that they had it. Different things were wrong, but no one ever actually gave love to each other to support and in that way recommend them to go see a therapist. So, I really wanted to bring a community together, bring us together to talk and have more discussion around it to help to normalize it.
And that's something that's a big deal with the military and I saw it years ago even with my father. I remember my father, um, I guess some of the factories got to a point where they did certain things. My father was seemed to have a problem with alcoholism. He was going through stuff. I remember he got laid off. And my uncle, because they worked together, my uncle was like, all Dell had to say is he had a problem, and they couldn't have fired him. And this was years ago. This was like 80s, 90s. Well, I heard my uncle say this. All he had to say is he had a problem. He wouldn't have lost his job. I was like,
Yeah.
they had that in existence? Yeah.
Right.
You just got a bunch of men, some vets. We got these men in here working hard. This is how we make our money. Now, it may seem jacked up to some people, but this is the deal. So if it's that kind of scenario, and this is just a factor, we're not even talking about the military.
Yeah.
So is it the fact that when dealing with the military, you realize how many things they had on point for people? And we're not just talking about PTSD. We're talking about people in the military who may have situations. Because a lot of people come to the military, some, it's not everybody's last resort, but a lot of folks, my brother went to the military and he might not be alive or free if he hadn't went to the military at 18. And I know that's a lot of course for a lot of people, but you get people coming in like that, who deals with the thing? And like you said, right now we just happen to be in a time. I hate to use the word sexy. No, I don't. I like using sexy. Mental health is sexy now. Mental health is the thing. It's like, oh, I have a therapist,
Yes.
or getting around people who don't look like us. Like I said,
Yes.
they talk about having a therapist on retainer like their lawyer. Another thing we don't have a lot of on retainer.
Yes.
But
True.
it's a regular thing. So when did you know that you were struggling with, or you might have had bouts of depression? When did you know, oh, that's what that is? That's why I do that.
Yeah. So anxiety really is what I've dealt with a lot.
Mhm.
And, I used to see family members, like my uncle used to have anxiety attacks really, really bad. He'd go to the hospital, he'd come back and he'd be fine. And I had bouts of those situations as well growing up. And I knew, I was like, okay, something's wrong. Why am I feeling this way? Would have all of a sudden my heart rate would speed up. I start sweating or just start being jittery to where I couldn't calm down. And I'm like, okay, something is going on. What is this?
Mm.
And throughout the years, being around certain people, learning internet, right? Being able to research, we all jump on WebMD here and there,
Right.
diagnosing ourselves. But
Lord.
I knew that I needed to speak with someone to get to the bottom of why I was feeling that way. And I think, in the Black community, that's one thing that we don't do. We don't go to the doctor enough, just a basic doctor, right? And we definitely don't speak enough about some of those extra issues that we're dealing with and trying to get to the bottom of what they actually are to identify them as being mental health issues, mental health, trauma.
Right. Because getting
Yeah.
to the point where, I'll be all right, I'll figure it out, has taken a lot of people out. I'll
It
be all right,
is.
figure it out.
Yes.
I'm just gonna take some more pills, or I'm just gonna do this, or not getting to the root of a thing.
Right.
I just recently started saying the words, my parents abandoned me,
Hmm.
over the past couple years or whatever it's been, or pre-COVID. I don't know. It seems like during quarantine, I've said it more than ever before in my life. In my relationship now, I've said it so much, but it's not a debilitating thing. It's
Yes.
that I admit and realize. But what made me look at it is how much in my life I've moved and shifted, and certain things were unstable. And I started, just it's funny that we're in a time, if you're watching this at a later date, 2020, we're in the fall going into the winter of 2020, which seems like we have been in a biological warfare because it's something
Yes.
biological that's been coming against us, and
Yes.
quarantine and COVID and all this stuff. So and you get that fatigue of it all, and all the stuff is going on. But what it does make you look at is your life and the things you've been through. And with COVID, they have something called contact tracing. A lot of times we don't do enough contact tracing with scenarios that are going on in our life. So I just started looking back down the line
Good.
and to the last place where I really felt stable that ended up being broken. And it's like, man, but all these techniques and stuff, like I told you earlier, is from working with therapists.
Yes.
So how old were you when you realized that you were having, well, how old were you when they started And how old were you when you realized these are anxiety attacks?
So they started pretty early. I'd say probably around 12, 13.
Mm.
Like I would have my mother take me to the ER because we thought that, something was wrong. And they sent me back, no medicine, no anything. But they didn't tell my mother that, hey, maybe we should see, or maybe we should think about this,
Like
you know.
nobody said panic attack, anxiety
No
attack,
one
too
said
young.
panic attack.
Like,
Exactly.
this.
No one helped to lead us into that direction, so growing up it was just something that I dealt with. I didn't know any better. It was something that we went to try and figure out what it was, and no solution. So I just dealt with that with it throughout my life. And then of course, now that we are making it sexy to speak about it, and when you mentioned that, when you said that, that you were abandoned by your parents, I heard strength when you mentioned that. It's not debilitating you, it's not defining you. And you're exactly right. When we do that contact tracing to our back trauma, because I grew up single mother of three, I'm fatherless, right? So some of that trauma that because at the end of the day, we are all broken. We all have something that has hurt us in the past, that we've held on to, that we've, not dealt with, not faced. And, we run into those triggers that end up popping up later on, or we end up acting out in a certain way in our relationships. And we,
Right.
we realize that sometimes we're sabotaging our future, sabotaging people around us, sabotaging our relationships, because we didn't do enough contact tracing, and I didn't do anything to fix it once I got and figured out where the root was coming from.
Mm, mm. True, true. Oh,
Yeah. You're so silly.
no, but it's real because a lot of times, and I look back over my life with a lot of stuff, and I love doing this, and I love interviews, and I love this show, and all the amazing people I get to expose, because everybody is, I say, all of the people I've interviewed, the most interesting people in the world.
Mm,
Everybody has a story. But I
yeah.
like being in this realm is because this is my passion. My
Yeah.
is helping men and women communicate better in love. And I think about, even at a young age, the relationships I've sabotaged with young ladies who may want to really care about me, not just friends, but mainly women, because you get to a certain place and something in you rebels and wants to go back to the thing that feels normal.
Right.
And been abandoned, the things that feels normal is being alone or being distanced from
Hmm.
someone to show you care. Want to distance yourself from them sometimes, even logically, even not knowing it, unknowingly, because they care about me. But how long is that going to be there?
Right.
Start distancing yourself and start pushing someone away. And the biggest thing that helped me, as a comedian, as a entertainer, you'll hear comedians say it a lot. The stage is our therapy because we get a lot of it out. Some comedians, I produce shows, been backstage for years and all this stuff. Some comedians, they come off the stage and they worse. They like, how was it? This, that, no. They always got a problem. But when they go on stage, they seem like they're in their world. But
Yeah.
if you jump in on stage, um, Richard Pryor had a lot of demons. But
Mm.
why I loved him is because when Richard hit that stage, he was transparent.
Yes.
He
Phenomenal.
he laid it all out.
Yes.
And some people like, oh, self-deprecating. He talking about himself. It's this and another. He talking about other people. He could bring. I think was it Andrew Young? Andrew Young might have said he thinks Richard Pryor did more for race relations than Dr. King.
Yeah. Mm.
If you know the power of humor, you know.
Yes.
But
Oh yeah.
I want to know. All right, you're coming up. You realize, um, because it became sexy, because it became the thing. Everybody's
Right.
talking. But you're talking about maybe into adulthood before you really realize what was happening.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. You know, like I said, never figured out with my family members. So definitely way into adulthood. Still having panic attacks. There was a time before I joined the military where I lived by myself, and I would tell my friends, I'm like, hey, look, I would stand in the doorway because I was that scared. That fear of anxiety and those panic attacks make you think that you're gonna die. So I would stand in the doorway just in case something happened to me. Someone would find me because I lived by myself. So, you know, fast forward many years later in the military, at one point, I ended up having an anxiety attack. I went to the ER, and one of the doctors happened to mention to me, he was like, I don't know what you're dealing with, but you need to deal with it pretty much. And I still didn't know what he meant at that time until even further, you know, further along. So it's just something that now that we're having these discussions, it's opening up the dialogue, and it's allowing other people to recognize that my symptoms are the same as your symptoms and the same as her symptoms, right? You know, so it's allowing us to have that. Even if we're not getting fully educated, we're getting some of the education, so we can take some of it to the doctor. We can mention this, and we can get some help. We can call those therapists. We can find out what we actually need to help us move forward.
So Black Therapy Love. And I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I started a hashtag a while back, said uh, therapy is for us. And but I loved it when I saw it, because that was around the time that hashtag I started working with a hashtag. I think it's around the time I saw Black Therapy Love. And I was like, yo, that's so dope what they're doing. I
Yes.
was like, that we're doing this because in one of my books I talk about pain bodies and triggers. And the the gist of well, let me start promoting my book. Let me talk about my book. And the only reason I'm saying this is because we're in the weekend and I'm talking about it. But the first chapter in my book is your past. And it almost makes me emotional just saying that. And we're having this
Right.
conversation because, and it's a relationship book, y'all. And it's so amazing to know that someone in the midst of dealing with somebody who's still young, it's a young lady,
Right.
entrepreneur, her,
Mm.
who not only joined the military, not only became a wife and doing a business, pushed through and said, okay, this is why I want to help people right in it now. Not one of those people, because sometimes you hear people say, oh, I recovered from this, and I did this, and I did. So when did it become a mission where you said, okay, I have to do something? Did you start pulling people together? Did you start connecting with people that had some of the same issues? Or how did you realize that this was starting to become your calling?
So, you know, my purpose actually, so in the military, I'm a counselor. So I'm more of a career counselor, but
Right.
your
Oh,
career
start talking.
has you can't move too far without having a strong foundation. So I'm still counseling them on their families and some of the personal things that they're dealing with. So helping people is my purpose. So, you know, as soon as I got to digging down deep in my purpose, that really opened up the avenue for me helping in other aspects, you know, whether it's mental health, whether it's with their career. But with mental health, you know, it's personal to me because I've dealt with it. It's personal to me because I can speak to it firsthand and be there to help someone else through and move forward. So creating the app was a baby of mine, just because I know the need in the Black community, and we know how much, like you said earlier, you know, we'll pray about it, we'll give it to God, we'll talk to our friends, but to actually take that step of calling that therapist, because it can be scary, you know, trying to find the right one. I'm already nervous for the first time to reach out and talk to someone. You know, there's so you got to be crazy in order to see a therapist, and that's not the case. You know, but it's the narrative sometimes surrounding us when we're trying to fix some of the issues that we're dealing with. So it's always been a passion. I love taking care of people. So by doing that, that allowed me to get there.
And it's amazing because in the we hear about PTSD with soldiers heard about that all the time. That was a regular thing. Soldiers dealing with different things. Before back in Vietnam, soldiers coming home and people like, oh, yeah, he's crazy. His medication,
Yeah.
whatever. He got shell shocked. He did whatever. But they weren't looking at ex-slaves,
Mm.
people in certain communities.
Ooh.
Um, Mike Tyson seeing his best friend killed in front of him. for people who saw stuff like that, coming out of cities that were impoverished, coming up in the projects where I heard Roxanne Shante talking the other day saying projects in New York, you're talking about 900 buildings, could be like 30,000 people in one project area and living on top of each other. That means you don't got to leave your house. You don't have to leave your community. You can see somebody dead on the elevator.
Right.
By being raped. You can, and no one's talking about the trauma, let alone single parent. I don't know what it is to go with a man. I've never had a father. Me and other girls and my mom. If my mom didn't date, did we suffer from all this stuff? And no one has. It's just we in 2020, and now it's almost. I mean, I'm getting chills talking about it.
Yes.
And I want you guys to understand how serious this is, because when you go in, and yeah, we stuff out there for everybody, but we're talking about the Black community in particular, because there are a lot of things that we count as normal that are traumas.
Yes.
And that we need to talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for the teachers I had in high school, but most of them, I didn't. One in particular, who I'm still close friends with today, Joseph McNeil, knew my situation. But the teachers wanted to be like, okay, he's smart, but it seems like something's not, because I'm the jokester, I'm laughing and stuff. And then my English teacher came back around, and something in her knew something.
Right.
Her saying, you know what? You're gifted in writing. I was like, and she looked at my face, she's blonde hair, white lady. Has anyone ever told you that? Like, no. She said, if no one's ever told you, then if I told you, it's not going to help. She said, enter the Maryland State Writing Contest. And I won second place.
Oh, that's awesome.
It shifted something. So
yes.
What have you seen in your life that shifted it from stigma to power?
That's a real good question. I think by being able to use some of the methods to not only help myself, but to also help people around me. So talking to my therapist, she said one of the main motivations behind seeing a therapist is to eventually get you to where you can be your own therapist, to where you can start using the same methods that are taught to you over and over again, that you can go to journaling. You can do your.
Don't see me writing. Huh? Anytime people see writing, I try to tell them you should be writing.
Okay. Right, exactly, right.
Get you to the point to be your own therapist. Let's go.
So you can be your own therapist. So when you're having those times, I first thing you think about, let me go journal, let me go write some of this out, or let me do some of my meditation, let me do some deep breathing, let me go exercise. I can always tell when I'm extra stressed, I need to go for a run, I need to jump on my Peloton, get my miles in. But it's powerful for me to be able to use some of those methods and be able to encourage someone else, not only to see their own, but to be able to help them. Hey, look, this is what worked for me. It may work for you, because everything doesn't work for everyone. But that's right. Where the power came from, was knowing that it helped to fix me, and knowing that I can help to guide someone else with some of those methods.
So you're in the military, doing your thing. You start, one of the scriptures say, and a multitude of counsel there is wisdom. Another translation said there is safety.
Yeah.
So feeling that you had a safe place to talk, where was your first safe place that you realized, this is where I can go? This is the person, this is the group, these are the people, I'm safe here. Did that shift things that you knew you had a place? Where was that place of safety, and how did that make you feel?
It was with my therapist. As far as when you talk about all the generational trauma, we're all walking around with it. And it's true. It's there. It's real. The other day I did a radio interview with Miss Ivory Shields, and we were talking about giving our children a voice. so many Black kids in the Black community stay in a kid's place. You know, you gonna get the switch. Go pick out them branches. I remember that oh so well. You know, so we're walking around with that, but I was able to be myself. I was able to bring some of that trauma up, and I definitely felt safe with my therapist. And you know, the beauty of it is by her being Black, I didn't have to explain to someone of a different ethnicity. And I love, hey, it's nothing against anyone at all, but I wanted someone to understand exactly what my trauma was when I sat in that seat. So I didn't want to have to explain it all over again.
Like sitting down. I just saw Yana Van Zant, the person going, and her going,
right, exactly, exactly. So you know that was where I felt safe. Like the word to the meaning, I felt safe in her chair. I knew that you know she was listening. It wasn't cookie cutter answers. I felt safe with my, and that was a power shift. You know, it was shifting from her onto me.
that's powerful. That's powerful. A power. Um, that's just powerful.
Mhm.
Um, so where did the concept for Black Therapy Love come from? Where did you say? Where were you writing down, and you came up with the name? The methodology I can understand a little bit, but tell us about the whole process, where that came from.
Yeah, so just like before, you know, I feel like we as the Black community could love ourselves more, and that's through taking those other steps. You know, we'll love ourselves, and we'll go shop Black Friday shopping. We'll go buy some J's. We'll go do this. You know,
We
loving
invest
on
in ourselves.
ourselves in other avenues, materialistic, right? You know, we'll spend money on other things, but I was like, we need to love on ourselves in a way that's helping our mental, in a way that's helping our foundation. And that's where the Black therapy love comes from. It's like, hey, let's love ourselves through therapy. And that's
That's right.
where the whole concept came from. So, as far as the app, when I was looking for a Black therapist, I found out that it wasn't too easy for me to find one. You know, I'm in California, I'm Googling, I'm trying to find something. And then I ended up going to the app store. I'm like, hey, there has to be an app out there. I couldn't find one. So I was like, hey, let me try and pull something together. And that's where that came from. That's where the motivation came from, is because I knew that, and there's that purpose, me wanting to help other people. I knew that if I was having an issue or difficulty trying to find one, that there must be other people out there like me dealing with the same thing. So it's like, let me try and let me pull something together. Let me do some research, and found a program to where I could pull Black therapists, and into a community, so where we could be talking about mental health and bring in the Black community with the Black therapists. So that's where the whole concept came from, is that I want us all to be discussing it, especially our Black men that, you know, that are dealing with a lot, walking around carrying a lot. But that's where, you know, the whole concept and idea came from. So I wanted to help someone dealing with something that may have been dealing with the same issue that I was having.
I love it. So people can, and you said it's more of a privatized app. You're working to get it on Google Play and App Store and all that stuff. But
Right.
people, where do they go? Where can they go to get the app now?
Yeah, so the app is downloadable. You can go to my Instagram. It is Black underscore therapy underscore love. You can also go to my website. It's black dash love dash therapy.com. But the link is there on my Instagram page. It's there on the website. All you have to do is click on the link, and it downloads directly to your phone. So, yeah, not in the App Store. So you don't have to worry about pop ups. You don't have to worry about paying for it. It's all about loving on each other, having a discussion. You know, there's times
Oh, the
I'll
app
put
is
out,
free.
uh, it's free. It's free. I'll put out
Let
a
me
little
tell you.
mental health check in, and we'll talk back and forth. I have this one, actually, there's, so another thing is the app has videos. A lot of the directories that you'll find, you'll see just their information, you'll see their bio, but the app actually has video. So you actually get to hear from the therapist that are listed in the app. So you can hear what they talk about, their what, their why, and get to know them a little bit in hopes of them making a connection with you and you wanting to use their services.
All right,
Right.
y'all. I don't
Right.
date, but it is Cyber Weekend, Cyber Monday.
Yes.
And I've been on this thing, invest in you, hashtag invest in you. Everyone, everyone, period, should download the app. Everyone who's black, your ass better download the app. I don't know how else to say it. I'm sorry. Even preacher, church
Right.
lady, your
Right.
ass need to download the app.
Facts.
It is mandatory that everyone. I endorse people that I believe in. I love interviewing people I believe in.
Yeah.
But my God, if you want to change the next generation, start with yourself.
Mm.
Download the app. I'm going to download the app. I didn't even know. I didn't know. We friends, so I get her interviews. She does amazing interviews all the time. But friends on Instagram. We ain't friends. You think, oh,
Right.
you know everybody, Troy. Friends on Instagram. We're building. But this is tremendous. How long did it take you? For those that might be working on something, trying to do something, how long did it take you to put together the app to start getting? I know it's ongoing, and to start
Yes.
therapists in. But how long has that process been so far?
Yeah, so we're coming up on a year now. It took about
Oh, yeah.
3, 4 months. Right. Yeah, coming up on a year. It took about 3, 4 months to get the app made. I have 6 therapists in the directory. So I'm interested in growing the directory. If you are a certified therapist, um, counselor, and interested in having your business advertised in our Black Therapy app, shoot me an email, shoot me a message, let me know. So yeah, we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary of the app so far. Yeah,
How's it feel?
it
What?
feels great. It feels great. It's nice to have people either come on my IG page and talk about it. I've had good reviews about it. So ultimately, it's just to help us heal. So not trying to get into accolades. We got work to do on this earth. We are all here for a purpose. Like you said, we're trying to heal the next generation. We're done passing this trauma along down the line. It's time to stop it right now, right here. So, and we have that control. And the more that we have these discussions, the more that we get the help, the more that we call those therapists, the more we can help our babies, the future.
Yeah, I'm really thankful. I don't know if we had reconnected around the time that Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club started talking about his issues on the Breakfast Club, as far as mental health. Um, the thing that made I had LA radio now, a radio station here in LA, and doing my thing. And in the time from like the fall of 2016, my birthday, 2017, February 20th, 2017, going to air. Throughout from then until for a straight year of everything I was doing to radio station, all this stuff, it I think in that time of me doing a radio station, Robin Williams might have been a little bit earlier because I feel like I met Robin Williams not too long after he missed. But Sam Sarpong, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain
Yes.
all committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Sam Sarpong, and Kate Spade. I don't know the full thing. Somebody might come back and tell me that's wrong, but I kind of figured Kate Spade might have had 100 million in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's Kate Spade.
I'm
You know,
sure
I mean,
she did. Oh
Anthony
yes.
Bourdain, I don't know his situation.
Right.
I don't know if some of them were accidents. I don't know what, but what did come out in all of those situations, and there were many more, was that it was this underlying thing of these people who were seemingly successful, but depressed enough to just want to end it all. And
Right.
one of the stats, because we don't always hear about, I think in the Black community, a lot of times, many of us could be suicidal, and some of those cats who are homicidal were actually suicidal, but just sent it another way. Instead of imploding, they exploded.
Yes.
And but it really shifted something in my mind, and I was looking at the therapist, like, shout out to Dr. Zoe Shaw. I might have mentioned her before. I'm definitely gonna put you in touch with her. Um, and Lisa Bubari, who's not a black sister, but she is a hypnotherapist. And I sat down with her, and just her tone and the way she carries it. And she has a amazing, amazing um, Heal Within International that deals with motherless children. And
Mm.
she, and you look at it, it's like, well, she got her mom. Okay to go that way with her nonprofit. But these people became friends and colleagues, and I saw the way that every time we cracked that mic on their podcast, they were just in it.
Yes.
And it wasn't like their life didn't have some kind of turmoil. All of them had a story. But being around those therapists and that really helped me um, make a full decision. Okay, LA Radio Now, let's make it Love Always. So in the next piece of it, I said, I just want to continuously connect with people like yourself, coaches, counselors, therapists, psychotherapists, doctors, and seeing how we can push this forward. So, like I said, I have a beautiful 9-year-old daughter, and I'm thankful. Y'all gonna think this wrong, but I'm thankful when I talk to Zoe. I can say, if I say, hey, obviously you need to go stand in the corner. She has the look and the tremble I used to get when my mom was like, go upstairs and take off your clothes.
Yep.
Because I can tell her to go stand in the corner and not have to touch her. She, oh, wait, Dad, wait.
Yes.
Wait. I'm like, I see that look. I'm like, in my head, it's like, you're supposed to be a parent. You gave her enough chances. It's like, oh, look at her.
Exactly.
All the voices in my head.
Exactly.
So do you get a lot of success? Have you gotten any success stories that really, really make your heart lift you up and keep you going in the midst of this?
I think, I'm being in the military allows me to impact young women, young men. So being able to be a mentor. So, and I find myself being pretty much like a motivational speaker. It just comes out. But being able to see the difference in others when I'm helping them, and coming to me with certain issues, being able to be on panels and symposiums to help people understand balance in life and different directions and give advice. So that really helps my heart to feel full. I really, that's once again tying them into my purpose of helping people. Those are my wins. My personal wins is by helping other people win in life. Yeah.
And where would you like to see this in the next 12 months, 2 years? It seemed like 2020 seems like a full decade. I saw this meme, or it was a video or something. They were like, supposedly God was actually talking to Zeus and Hades, and Satan was like, Lucifer, did you do everything you were supposed to do and getting all that stuff? 2020? Yeah, we got it all done. He's like, 2020 through 2030. He's like,
oh, time out.
It was supposed to be 10 years? Zeus was like, you put everything in 1 year?
Oh,
Because that's how 2020 has felt like. The world is like,
yeah.
oh my God. Have you seen a spike in people reaching out or downloading the app in 20? God's timing is impeccable. But in 2020, could you imagine that we would be in this kind of dispensation of time when you started the app? So you started the app end of 2018, right? Or around 2018?
Well, 19, yes. Last year.
2019. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you launched the app in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But could you imagine?
My goodness. Where we are today, and there's so much going on outside. It just, and it's kind of symbolic because there's a lot going on outside and it's having a huge impact on what's going on inside, So yeah, no, before I'm thinking my little circle, what's happening with me, let me help somebody else. But it ends up being, huge because everybody's going through something now. All the homeschooling with Skype and Zoom and kids, and even the kids, we have to be monitoring their mental health. They're away from their friends, the social networks and stuff that they're not able to tap into right now. This is a tough time for everyone's mental health. So, no, I definitely didn't think that, we'd be sitting where we are today when I was creating this last year. But it's so needed. It's such a discussion that needs to be happening in everyone's home, in everyone's community, not only the Black community, but we just seem to be, we're not like, you're a communications expert. I grew up, my mom didn't know how to communicate. Her mother had a stroke when she was young. So she really didn't have that mother figure to be raised by, so there's a lot that we carry, and it's so important that we're having these discussions today. We're dealing with a lot today.
It's wow. It's just I'm very thankful for you. Very thankful for you, because it's crazy that it's becoming normal now. It's crazy. Even though I'm glad we're shifting past just the stigma of calling it something.
Right.
Oh, Asperger's. Oh, ADD. Oh, ADHD. Oh, maybe not ADHD. We may not do that more. Oh, this, and you call it something, and then you place medication to it or something like that, but you're still not dealing with the problem.
Exactly.
Not given a chance to talk about it. And then tools on how to talk about it further. Adults, 50s, 60s. I talk to them all the time. Friends that are, and they're dealing with certain things. And until we have the more in-depth talks, you don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
But there's more than enough tools.
It's
definitely my Cyber Monday thing that I'm putting this out tonight. But Cyber Monday, I'm definitely gonna do a commercial. This is one of the invest in new businesses I'm really gonna push. And I think it's a free download, everybody. I think everybody. Free, right? Right?
Yeah,
It's free.
The
download is free.
Yes.
Not saying all therapists are free, but the download.
The therapists are they do charge. However, a lot of them have free consultations, so that way you can talk and find out, what, is he the right fit for me? Is she the right fit for me? It takes time to find that one that works for you.
And let me tell y'all, some of y'all save thousands of dollars because the kids are not in school. You might have shifted a little bit of it to the computer. Most of them are computers. Some of y'all some of y'all may have already spent the $500 on whatever this PlayStation situation is. So that might be gone. But I know you take the same $500 you put into a PlayStation. There are some therapists that will stretch that out for you over 10 months.
You got that right.
How much therapy? How much do you think? Almost a year's worth of therapy. And if they, you get a relationship with a good therapist, that $500 or $600 might last you a year.
Yeah.
A monthly fee to go in there and talk to somebody who actually is qualified to help you. It was such a blessing for me to work with therapists because I got to talk to them.
Right. Me
I got
too.
to sit with them, and continuously open that door and meeting all these people and stuff like that. So it helps talking. I communicate for a living. I love communicating, but it helps to talk to somebody, y'all. And in this season, with everything that's going on, the most depressing season is usually holiday time.
Around the holidays. You're right. It is. People are alone. People don't know how to deal with it. And we're even more isolated due to COVID. So, it's heightened right now.
What is the morale in the military?
Can't speak for everyone, of course. But nothing outside the norm that, people aren't dealing with. Of course, if you were away and outside the continental US, may not be as good right now, around these times. But morale is pretty well, we're dealing with it just like anything else for the most part. Yeah.
And you're in a position where you've been trained to deal with the most uncommon, unusual, things that could come against us and that could be life threatening. You are defenders. You are trained for that. And at the same time, you're people.
Yes.
And you have to put on different things. Talk about Tyson and Roy Jones that fought. And after the fight, it's funny because these guys are in their 50s and they interview Mike, and Mike is like, he's like, yeah, it feels good. But it's a different energy for them, different thing.
Yeah.
And they turned around to Roy and said, Roy, a lot of people were concerned that you could get hurt in this fight.
We were.
Did you? Yeah, yeah, everybody. And I was like, yeah. He's like, you concerned, and you could tell Roy was sore, his body, because whatever it was concerned you get hurt in this fight, and And how did you feel? Were you concerned? And Mike said, hey, why ain't nobody concerned about me? Exactly. I could have got hurt. Nobody concerned about my ass. I fell out. He said, and the white guy looked at him. He's like,
right,
concerned about the giant.
Exactly.
He said, giant? What do you think? He's like, you're the guy. He said, no, this guy fought in 2018. I ain't fought in 15 years. I'm an amateur.
Yeah.
And you saw his face. It was a very joking moment, but it's funny that if someone puts a stigma on you, that's your, or no offense to my Caucasian sisters, but I've never heard anybody say strong white lady. Never heard it. Never heard the term.
Yeah.
But if it's put a stigma on you that you're a strong black woman, she's good. Or that brother over there, look at that big tall guy. He's all right. And those same stigmas have caused men to be killed by the police.
Mm-hmm.
Or just asking a question that if anybody else asked, it might be a conversation.
Exactly.
Or just that kind of stuff.
Having to have the talk. Oh. You have a 9-year-old girl. I have a 10-year-old little boy that I'm raising. So you're right. The stigma and what we are dealing with, it's tough.
It's something where, and I have a friend Jake, and Caucasian brother from, I don't know if Jake's from New York, upstate, whatever. I remember we were doing a show. We had a show, Whipped Cream and Coffee. And we're talking, he's into sports and everything. We're talking. I don't know if it was before or after the show, but I never forget we were talking one time. And I started talking about having to talk. My mom was 19. It was probably 1978 or something. My mother had to talk with me on how to, get locked up. And the cops pull you, be respectful, like how to be respectful.
Yeah.
My mother was very specific about saying, and if you get locked up or if something happens with the cop, get to where I can get to you. And I'm telling the story I'm talking about, I'm talking, and I look up at Jake and he's in tears. And it's almost shaking. He said, I could not imagine that. It's real, you guys.
It's real. It's
real. And
it's
I'm very excited that something like this exists and people can either I think I told you before, it was a wonderful sister, Barrett, out of Denmark, who had me help them with some promotion and marketing for Coaching in Life. And Coaching in Life, that was kind of their thing they wanted to do. Started the thing Coaching in Life. He had a bunch of different coaches, people come in and she's going through the ups and downs and beta tests and stuff like that. But this is a major achievement because you ain't got to tell nobody, y'all. You can just download it.
Right.
Just download and
download
and see what's there.
It's free 99.
Free 99 this weekend only. Or every weekend actually. But at least you can start talking to and seeing videos about therapists and see what it is. But I know therapists who are amazing and doing very well are doctors. Mm-hmm. And I know I've talked to them about their pricing. And for the amount of money that, for half of what the average person pays for cable, you could have therapy.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Some of them take
21
days. Yes. Some of them are like 80 to 100, per session. Sometimes we just have to take a step back and prioritize. Prioritize what's really important to you in life.
Yes. It's not selfish. Right. We think We talk about it being selfish when it comes to self-care and health and wellness and mental health, but we don't talk about it being selfish when you get them shoes.
Exactly. Exactly. Them Yeezys.
Them-
I'm just saying.
You talking about and mind you, we ain't even talking about red bottom. You know,
Right. Exactly.
with red bottom. You're like, how much is red bottoms? Well, oh, I got to pay my bills next week when I get these.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yes, loving on ourselves, loving on our community, loving on the next generation, trying to, right some of, not all, because Lord knows we got a lot of work that's outside of us, right?
Right, right.
But, loving on as much as we can our community to help ourselves moving forward. Yes.
So Mina Ward, Black Therapy Love. Thank you, sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're gonna be doing more talks, and I'm definitely gonna push you, and um, we're gonna do collabs, whatever we can do.
Absolutely.
But let people know how to get in touch with you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can get the app. One more time before we get out of here.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much. You are so amazing. I really enjoyed myself laughing and giggling on a heavy topic. It's always good to throw that in there.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Instagram. It's my IG handle is black_therapy_love. You can check me out on my website. It is www.black-love-therapy.com. My number is there as well. But shoot me an email, jump on my IG page, shoot me a message, download the app for free on there, and let's do this. Let's love on each other. Let's help each other. Let's check in, that mental health check in that we all need. Like you say, those strong. Mike Tyson is strong. Yeah, absolutely, very strong. But at the end of the day, he's like, hey, who's worried about me? Right. Who's worried about me? So, those strong ones are really the ones that we need to be checking in on.
Yeah.
Not only we expect to be checking in on the ones that have had issues and, maybe down here and there, we're expectant to check on those. But what about the one that's always smiling, always laughing? The one that everybody keeps depending on, that, keeps giving. Nobody is making sure that they're replenishing themselves as well. So check on everybody.
That's right. That's right. Mina Ward, the beautiful, talented entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Yes, absolutely.
It's so bad. I saw her sweatshirt earlier. I'm trying to read the woman symbol. I'm like,
And my husband's cousin made this. She has her own business, and I thought it was so dope. It's entrepreneur her, and actually put my logo on here. And I meant to get, that's the Black Therapy Love logo on there. And I meant to get her IG, her information, because I love this sweatshirt. It's dope.
Pump it up. It's Cyber Weekend, Cyber Monday. Go do something for yourself. Download. All the information will be below in the YouTube, on the IG video. I love it. Love it. Thank you, Mina.
Thank you so much, Troy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too. We'll talk soon.
Okay.